ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Now we're always judged on our box office numbers, and that's a shame because, like, I did a film called Hotel Artemis. It wasn't a huge success, but it's a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a small budget independent film. It's a great movie. It's a solid movie, but because people didn't turn out to see it, it doesn't get any love.
Do you feel like, because you're talking about box office and having to perform,
Yeah.
This is the movie coming out for you right after Endgame. So, I mean, Endgame is one of the highest grossing films of all time. So I find it interesting that you still kind of feel that pressure behind you.
Yeah. Well, I don't, and I tell people it's so weird. It's like a blessing and a curse, and it's not really a curse, but I don't want to be like a fraud. I don't want to feel like a fraud. I don't feel like a fake. If you ask me what my part had to do with Endgame's success, I will honestly tell you it had absolutely zero to do with the success of that film. Me, as a performer, my character had nothing to do with the success of that film. That's the honest answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
That film,
but at the same time, you can't say Guardians didn't play a part in why that movie was as big as it was.
No. If you asked me about Infinity War, it would be a different answer. I believe that my part in Infinity War, it meant more. It was a better part. Them utilizing Guardians to help build that film, promote that film, it was just bigger. But as far as Endgame, I completely removed myself professionally from that film. I don't feel connected professionally to that film at all. I got a little grief for this, in which I felt horrible for. But so you're really kept in the dark for a lot of Marvel stuff. But for Infinity War and Endgame in particular, you're just really kept in the dark. And so while we were doing, I didn't know how Infinity War ended. I had no idea. We shot all our stuff like out of sequence or bits and pieces, or I was never privy to scripts. The same. We shot it like a little over a year straight, both Infinity War and Endgame. So I didn't know which parts were going to be in which movie. I was just really lost. But as we started doing press for Infinity War, I had been talking to the press openly about my work schedule, and I'd been filming for a year on both these films, not knowing how the first film was going to end, that we were going to disintegrate. But so I was already talking about Guardians 3, and I was talking about being the part 2 of Infinity War. And then when it came out, when we all turned to dust, I was like, well, maybe I should have said a few of those things. And then somebody, how people, when I had the falling out with Disney, people jumped on that and tried to turn me into talking openly about my work schedule, into me giving spoilers for the second film. And I wasn't. I actually had a discussion with the Russo brothers, because all they saw was that headline, Dave Bautista's giving spoilers for, Endgame. And I wasn't at all. I was just talking very openly about my work schedule, and that was before I knew that I was going to be turned into dust on the first show.
With the whole, the falling out you had with Disney, but now kind of things with Gunn with James Gunn have been repaired. He's coming back for Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Where does your relationship stand with Disney at this point?
I hope it's good. I've never actually talked to anybody from Disney. I only ever talked to people from Marvel. And they were very understanding about the way I felt. I think there was a lot of that, even at Disney. I think and again, this is all speculation. It's not for me talking to anybody, so this is all my own opinion. But I think there was a lot of regret after they fired James. I think because they did it so fast without really researching much and then not knowing what the big picture was. I think they knew that they made a mistake. But it's like, how does a big, corporation, a juggernaut like that come back, and save face? How do they change their decision and save face? And I think they put themselves in a bad spot, but I think they realized early on that it was a mistake. And again, that's my opinion, but I seem to have I got people who are very understanding of where I stood. A lot of them just weren't outspoken about it, and I just happened to be very outspoken about the way I felt.
Well, and James seems very thankful for it. I mean, that interview he did, he had nothing but kind things to say about you, about being, in regards to being brought back to the franchise and all you did to help make it happen.
Yeah, and I won't take credit for any of that. I just, James he's my friend. I love him, and he helped change my life, and I just I know he's a decent person, and he was being attacked, and what do you do when your friends are attacked? You defend them, or you're not really a friend. So that's it. That was all I was thinking. That's all I was doing.
ProWrestlingSheet.com